Hey heroes! Welcome back to How to Be a Hero. I'm Nicholas, your hero coach. Together, through this collection of videos, we'll be looking at how to apply the values of heroism as found through important pieces of literature. Today, we'll be talking about one of Frank Stoncton's famous short stories, The Lady or the Tiger. If you haven't read the story, I highly recommend it. It's not long and a great read. But, for those of you who are too lazy to spend the 15 minutes reading it, here's a quick summary. The Lady or the Tiger takes place in a kingdom with a peculiar justice system. It's peculiar in the sense that it is entirely based on chance. The king has developed this system where whenever a person is accused of a crime, they are arrested and taken to the Colosseum and are forced to choose between one of two doors. Behind one of the doors is a beautiful woman who will instantly marry the accused person, and the accused person will be set free to live the rest of their life married to this woman. However, behind the second door is a hungry tiger who rip the accused person to shreds and eat them. Sounds fun. Now, where this gets interesting is that the king has a daughter, and his daughter is just as crazy as he is. And I mean, I didn't tell you how crazy he is, but look at how they decide who's guilty and innocent. It's clear this dude is not 100% sane. But, back to the king's daughter, she takes on a lover. However, when the king finds out about this, he is less than pleased. And so, naturally, he sends his daughter's lover to his loony idea of justice, that being the two doors. Now, the day of the boy's trial comes, and he's in the center of the Colosseum. When he bows to the king before choosing the door that will decide his fate, he looks over at the princess, who gives him a signal to tell him which door to pick. And so, the boy goes towards the door that the princess signaled, and right before he opens it, the story ends, and Stoncton asks us, which did he pick? The lady or the tiger? It's a fantastic story, and this summary does not do it justice, so if you haven't read it, I highly recommend you go read it. But, moving on, let's talk a little bit about how we can find heroism in this story, and that is through the princess. Now, because this story doesn't have an ending, we can analyze both possible options here, whether or not she chose the lady or the tiger. First, let's look if she signaled towards the door with the lady. Many people here argue that if she signals towards this door, then she's acting in love, because she's letting him live out his life, married to another beautiful woman. This is a very heroic course of action, because she's putting the needs of others, which is her lover's need for life, in front of her own needs, which is her need for his love. Certainly heroic, right? Hard to argue that much. Now, let's look at if she signaled the tiger. The argument here is that in signaling towards this door, she's acting in jealousy, with the rationale that, if I can't have him, then no one can. However, others argue that through acting on this jealous feeling, she's actually being heroic to this boy, who could never love anyone other than her, and would be stuck in a life of misery, married to the other girl. Now, when you put it that way, you can kind of see how it could be construed as heroic. However, I disagree with both these arguments. In fact, I would argue that while there is certainly a more heroic choice between the two of them, whether or not you choose between the lady or the tiger, it is the same because jealousy and love are two sides of the same coin. Now, what do I mean by this, do you say? Well, think about it. Jealousy does not exist without love. For instance, say you're jealous because a friend of yours decided to hang out with some other friends. That jealousy that you only feel it because you care about your friend and you enjoy spending time with them. Right? If you didn't care about them, you wouldn't care if they went and hung out with somebody else. Now, the inverse of this is true. Love does not exist without jealousy. Now, be careful with understanding my words here, because I'm not saying that when you're in love with someone, you're entitled to be jealous of them all the time and act on those jealous feelings all the time. What I'm saying is that when you love someone, it's only natural to get a little bit jealous. Look, there's this super cool person who you literally can't get enough of. And why wouldn't you be unhappy when they're not spending time with you, right? That's only natural. Then again, recognizing the fact that you're feeling a little bit unhappy is vastly different from being controlling and manipulative and spending every waking moment of every day with them, because that's a little bit unhealthy. But think about it. The people who you're jealous of are people that, whether you like to admit it or not, you care about. Similarly, you'll notice that when you care about someone, you tend to get a little bit jealous about them, too. Now, another question in your minds right now, that's all fine and dandy, Nicholas. What's that got to do with heroism, huh? Good question, I'll grant you that one. A little bit of a rant there. But what I think this story tells us about heroism is that heroes are forced to make tough choices sometimes, like the princess. And in these tough choices, it can sometimes be very difficult or even impossible to find the right answer. Like, take this story for example. Which choice is the right one, do you think? Ask 10 different people and you'll get 10 different reasons for why they chose what they did. But sometimes, there's no right answer. Sometimes both choices suck. To be a hero, we need to understand that some choices are like this, and no matter how much we may hate it, that's the way it is. So heroes, when you're faced with a tough decision, don't sweat it. Think it through, and even if there's no right answer, think to yourself about which one is less wrong. And that is my analysis into The Lady or the Tiger. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Nicholas, your hero coach, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.